We're launching a new series today called...
Did we name it?
Yes. You called it Dear Valentina.
Oh, I said that already.
Oh, you did?
Yes. Did I?
Oh. I was lost in your eyes. Sorry.
I have that effect.
Where am I? What's my name?
Okay, so then, there you go. Say it again. Lead up to it again.
To which part?
And so you've started a new series.
Oh.
Hey guys, welcome to the House of Valentina. I'm Valentina and my husband Jack is hanging out with me today because he's helping me with the technical side of today's video. Sorry, I'm sure that you love hanging out with us all the time, but
I do.
Necessity demands that he really has to be here because I have no idea how we're gonna pull all this off. But yes, so today's video is a new little series that we thought that we would start because we get so many questions from you guys about how to design your spaces. You're wanting to know our opinions and our thoughts. And so within the Inspired by Me Facebook group, we opened it up to you guys and just said, send us your pictures, send us your questions, and if we have enough, we'll make a video about it. And as it turns out, we got so many responses that we'll probably have to make more than one video.
Yeah, the original concept was we thought, oh, we'll just answer a few of these, and we got so many that it was like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? So we actually are starting a new series today called
Dear Valentina. So
yeah,
we're excited, yay!
Yeah, so what we're gonna do is literally go through your questions, and we're gonna pop the pictures up here on the screen, probably
That's
over
the
my
part he's gonna help me with,
over my ugly mug right about here, and then she'll answer the questions in real time.
Hey, you set this camera, this little scenario up.
I know.
We're in the black room. We're just trying to like mix things up a little bit.
This is the sexy room. So
it's the sunroom.
Yeah.
Just to make that clear.
Yeah, otherwise known as the sunroom.
All right, well, this is the kind of video that you enjoy and you love to hear interior design tips, travel, lifestyle, all that awesome stuff. We renovate, we decorate, we do it all here. So make sure if you have not hit subscribe that you do. Right now, go ahead and hit subscribe. Hit the notifications bell if you are a subscriber so then you know when a video has been uploaded. And don't forget, thumbs up, comments, all that cool stuff helps the channel, which makes it awesome. More awesome. I was gonna say awesomer for you. Yeah, no.
This isn't English. This is not an English video. So
We're gonna awesomeize the channel with you guys. So yeah, be sure to do all that and let's jump in.
All right. Okay, so our first question is from, that's right. Can't read with them.
I can't make fun of him. I'll be there soon enough.
So our first question is from Jamie Martin. Hope I said your name right. Jamie has this gorgeous room with this amazing fireplace and says, pick me, pick me.
Aww.
I've been trying to decide if I should paint my brick, cover it with wood or tile, or leave it as it is. I also want to update my paint color. I've been thinking about white, but I'm afraid it won't look good with the brick. Help.
Okay, so that's a lot of questions. Okay, so before I just say, yes, paint your brick. Yes, paint the brick. But if there's more questions attached to this, right? So we're not just talking about only one thing. Are we only talking about the brick? No. We're talking about painting the walls white? Well, that's a huge change. That's gonna completely change the way that this room feels. And I think the biggest question that you need to ask yourself, and this is what I always start with my clients, is how do you wanna feel in the space overall? Because painting the fireplace is just one piece of this equation. So if you're leaving the color on the walls, I might give you different advice on what you would do to that fireplace. But if you're wanting something white, which to me usually means that my clients are ready for something that feels lighter and airier, and so many of us are in the space. We're ready for something that just makes it feel ethereal and just relaxing. So that's my first question. Obviously, I'm a fan of white paint. Obviously, I'm also a fan of black and dark colors. So you really need to ask yourself, how do you want to feel when you walk into that space? And what's the emotion that you want to feel? Do you want to feel soothed? And do you want it to feel just really comfortable? Do you want it to feel just light and, I don't know.
Yeah.
That feeling. Do you want that? Or do you want to walk into the room? I think when the minute I saw this, I was like, ooh, like it's like cozy and kind of warm, and it feels a little bit like fall in there, and those colors are very warm. So you can still maintain that warmth by painting the walls white. You're just gonna have to work with your textures quite a bit when you do that. You can still have a warm home and white walls. If you wanna pick maybe a warmer white, refer back to our video about what color whites to choose for your house. Okay, so the second question here is the fireplace. So let's just say, for instance, because you can kind of figure out what you want to do if you want to leave the walls this way, but let's assume that you're going to want this new look for this space. So if we've decided that we still want a cozy vibe and we're going to go white on the walls, I would absolutely think about doing something with the fireplace. I think that painting the brick is a great, easy, inexpensive solution, and if you don't have a big budget and you don't want to spend a lot of time on it, that's easy. You can totally do that yourself. I would definitely think about maybe flip-flopping your colors here. So you might go a little bit darker on the fireplace to add a really great focal point. That would really play off well off the artwork that's already in there. And if you're gonna keep your dark dining room table, think about how you can kind of tie that warmth over to that fireplace wall. Technically, those two colors are very similar, and you could play up that dark wood color. That's another option. But yeah, I mean, you could definitely do something warm. Maybe take the color off the wall and put that on the fireplace and go lighter, creamier white, and kind of just pull all that together. It feels like all these things go together right now. So when you start to play with one, you're gonna need to play with all of it. Really come together with like that cohesive look. It's okay to keep your dark woods with a light wall, but it's gonna change the entire feel of the space. So you might find yourself putting linen on the sofa and tying in some of those darker hues, maybe into the art, what goes on those shelves. So all of that kind of plays together. And the kitchen here, even if you had a dark cabinet, you could still do light on the walls. You would just maybe think through that island piece may need to be a different color, all that kind of stuff.
All right, and our next question comes from Laura Rager Boulder. Laura says, so I've been fighting with my dining room for a long time. I actually have 3 walls.
Don't fight it.
I literally picture them like fighting.
I know, I picture like, poof.
So, and we've been in this situation before somewhere we lived where she actually has 3 walls and there's no windows in the space. I hate that, but I have to work with what I have. My husband won't let me knock out the wall for some reason. Husbands. Why am I talking about
They're
this?
always resistant.
I'm not. I finally figured out a round table.
Wait, I was trying to knock a wall into the closet and you were like,
You were not going to try to knock a window into the side of the house.
So that's what she's trying to do too.
Oh my gosh.
See, it's not just you, it's me too.
Apparently not.
I go through the same thing.
I finally figured out that a round table would work better than a square one, and it seems to be working. My problem is the back empty wall. I'm really not sure what to do with it. I'm going to add a small bench underneath the one picture, and of course I need to add a rug. Not sure what rug to add.
A small bench,
rug
what?
To add. I'm really bad at picking rugs. She wants to add a small bench underneath the picture right there.
Oh, okay, I couldn't really see the picture.
The final thing is the angle I'm taking the picture is actually open to the living room. There's no wall where I'm taking the picture from. So she's basically got 2 solid walls, a door with a wall with a door in it, and then no wall in this end.
Yeah, it kind of feels like there's not really a focal point in the room right now. If this is the main view that you see, so you've got 2 main views, right? You're gonna walk in from the kitchen, because I can see the refrigerator, and then she's saying back behind us, there's nothing behind that. So there's 2 main things going on here. You're gonna have 2 entry points, and I always think about that. What's that moment when you walk into the room and you look at it? What is that wow moment, that power moment? That's it. That's everything. And I would imagine that you probably see this more from the living room than you do from the kitchen, but we'll talk about that part in a second. So if it was me, just some quick and simple things. First of all, the room has like no like power statement really. It just feels like it's kind of there. And I get it, we all have spaces like this. The ceiling is amazing. That detail work is so cool. So I would suggest giving yourself a bigger power statement. So if you're working on 0 budget, the main thing I would do is I would take those shelves and I would put them on that wall behind the light, behind the table. That becomes your focal point. Make that wall a wow statement. And I think that those shelving would be a great way to do that. The other way to do it, I just wouldn't put something tall. It feels like you can't even walk around the room the way it is right now. I kind of feel like there's depth there that's not being taken up, which is why I wouldn't put a piece of artwork behind that. You could, and that would make a bold statement, but I just feel like the better move here is to put the 2 shelves behind the table, give yourself a really great power statement, fill it up with really beautiful, large pieces. Make sure they're large scale, especially on the top shelves, that just kind of weights the room. It gives you an amazing power statement. And then your secondary power statement is the one where the artwork is right now. And I think a bench, I don't even know if there's room for a bench, to be honest. It doesn't seem like it. And sometimes it's hard for us to tell through the photos, but a bench feels like it's gonna feel crowded. And if you can't walk through that space, what's the point in having it? I mean, if you can't pull your chair out from the table and actually sit in the space without bumping into furniture, sometimes you have to just go more minimalistic. You actually need less in the space than you think you do. If anything, maybe just a teensy tiny, really super narrow shelf. They have, or console table. They have it at CB2 and I use those a lot. They have one similar, the collection at Target's similar, but I don't know if they have a table thin enough that would actually fit there. Like I'm thinking like less than 12 inches. It's gotta be really narrow. That would totally work. But if you could also paint that ceiling and really get a punch out of that and amp up your lighting a little bit. I think that those things would also just make it feel really more of a power statement. And I would just switch out maybe, it doesn't feel like the table over here on the side, like it's really been necessarily, yeah, that table that's in there, first of all, it feels really big in the picture. Could be an illusion. Maybe something a little bit smaller, or again, just a nice big piece of art, and maybe the bench could fit there. Again, it just looks really tight.
Yeah,
so I would go more minimal on that wall myself, and just go for big pieces, big artwork, less furniture in the space, put a great arrangement of flowers on that table, and have that power statement on that wall. That's my advice.
Awesome. Thanks, Laura, for sending that in.
Thank you.
Okay, so our next one is from Cindy Warren Trumley. Cindy says, help, help.
Wow, what a beautiful
I know, she like
room.
sent out the back signal. We've just painted and put in new flooring. Now we have a blank canvas. It's a gorgeous room.
It's beautiful.
We're in the middle of hanging curtains, but I need help on what to put on the wall and furniture placement, etc., etc.
Okay, is this the only picture of the
So
space?
we've got this picture, and then we've got this picture.
Okay, that makes more sense. Okay,
Yeah, beautiful
so
room.
the room obviously is just stunning. The flooring is gorgeous, the walls and the beams.
And those windows.
Stunning.
Oh my gosh, those
Love that.
arch windows are amazing.
Yeah, I don't think I would put I wouldn't put any curtains on the arched windows. I'd only put them on the other side. Again, I just like white, frothy, light and airy window treatments. Now, so the biggest question again, we're gonna come back to the same exact question that I always start with is, how do you wanna feel when you walk into the space? We can't place furniture and any of that stuff. We can't do any of those things until we understand how do you want to feel when you walk into the space? Because if I'm designing for myself, I just painted all the walls white. I'm assuming that you might want it to feel light and airy, but white doesn't have to be light and airy. White can also be highly dramatic. You could add black curtains to those windows or a deep velvet gray, and we're gonna have a completely different look in this room. So my assumption is that because you just painted the walls white, that it looks like you're trying to lighten things and you're just wanting that kind of feel. So my assumption is that you would probably put a white linen on those walls. But what the room does not have right now is there's no fireplace wall, there's no focal point to the space. I'm assuming that you're walking in from one of the back corners that we're kind of standing at. And so when you walk into the room, you just see a wall of brown, because your eye just sees brown sofa, brown chairs, brown floor, there's brown beams and a brown fan. So if it was mine, what I would do is, I'm gonna assume that this is a hangout space because it has a TV in it. I think it would be ideal to have a big, beautiful wall of bookshelves on that side. If you had something that, if you wanted it to be more rustic, so that far wall when you walk in is your focal point. So we want to put something on that wall that really just sparks I don't want to use sparks joy, but Joy had a good point, okay? We want to spark some joy here, people. This is a great spot to do it. Let's spark some joy and add a piece of furniture, maybe like a really beautiful wall library-esque kind of bookshelf on that wall. You could do that, or I mean, I'm just assuming that because you have traditional furniture that that's the direction you want to go, and you haven't said that you're trying to switch out the furniture. So I'm assuming we're still sticking with these pieces, and therefore I would take out the two. You got a couple options here, right? Okay, you could either take out the 2 chairs and keep those 2 sofas and then add 2 lighter chairs, or you could flip-flop it. And which way did I just say?
I don't know. Take out the 2 chairs.
Leave the 2 chairs and go light on the sofas. Go really, really light, and then you just have those 2 pieces in there, and then you might add a light cushion onto those chairs, and you're just trying to make it all feel like it goes together, right? So you might add something dark onto that sofa if you decide to leave dark, and then something light on the, just mix it up, light and dark.
What about underneath the TV? What about that whole little area?
Yeah, well, before we kind of move on to that, we really need a rug.
Oh, yes.
Need a rug to anchor the space. I personally don't love to have the back of a furniture piece normally where you walk into a room and you see the back of a piece of furniture. However, your room is huge. At least it looks like it from here.
Yeah.
So you could have the sofa on the back and then a console table behind it, and then it's just totally creating a space over there. But again, it just depends on which piece you decide to keep and which chair you most like to sit in for when you're watching TV. So I always just think through those furniture arrangements. How does a room gonna function? That's the most important thing. I would add a really great light rug. It doesn't have to be pure white, but something with taupes in it, something really light and airy, and then switch out that fan. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I had a lot of fun. This was so much fun. I mean, what an honor for us to be a part of your homes like this. For you to submit your homes and to be a part of them. Oh my gosh, like
I know.
That there's no place like home, right? It's so personal. It's all about you displaying your style. And that's my ultimate advice to you, is to really dive into who you are and understand what makes you tick, what makes you happy, what gets you excited about living there. This is what we always say to our clients, is when you walk in, we want you to feel like, wow, I get to live here. This is mine. This is mine. That's what we want you to feel when you walk into your spaces. So the pieces, a lot of times, yes, there are some styling hacks that we do. There's some things that we change up, but ultimately what it's really about is understanding who you are and what you love and creating the home around that. And when you do that, you'll always end up with a home that you love. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed today's video.
Yeah, if you want to continue to ask questions, first of all, if you haven't posted a room yet and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I could even do this, jump over to Inspired by V and write in your question. And if you want to hashtag it Dear Valentina, that way we can find it, or even you want to start your letter off, that would be really cool. Dear Valentina,
Yes.
I have this room, what do I do? That would be great. As well as if you need even further help, you do virtual design consultations where you literally do this on live Zoom.
Yeah.
And I walk past them all the time, and she's got one in just a minute she's gonna go do. And they're giggling and laughing and drinking rosé and having a great time. Maybe,
I don't have the rosé.
maybe not the rosé part.
I need to be fully aware.
But it's a great opportunity if you want her in your house for a few hours or whatever it is you want. And
It's
just
just
to
really
kind of,
fun because a lot of times I'm not seeing, from one picture, it's really hard for me to see what's going on in the space. And we might back out and be like, okay, no, that's not exactly what I would do. So when we're on video, we're able to walk around the whole room and do all of that together. And we also do consultations here in the Atlanta area, and we're hoping to travel more. So if you have big projects, let us know, because we're looking for some pretty big projects in other states that would give us the excuse to hop in the car and go somewhere. So
gladly.
Yeah. So also don't forget, hit subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Let us know if you like this new series, and if you hope that we do more, that'll really help us out. And as always, you can visit us at housevalentina.com. That's where all the virtual design services are and loads of extra inspiration. So thank you so much for visiting us and allowing us to be a part of your homes. That really means the world to us. And I guess we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye. How do you want to feel when you, does it feel like we hear the cicadas like over our voices? They're really loud. Okay.
I didn't hear them.